Since 2002, 4 out of 5 defending World Cup champions have crashed out in the group stages of the very next tournament. Winning the biggest prize in sports breeds a specific kind of complacency that usually destroys a team's hunger. As Argentina prepares for the 2026 tournament in North America, manager Lionel Scaloni is attempting to dodge this historical trap. He has to evolve a squad that has already reached the absolute peak of the sport. Most managers fail because they remain loyal to the exact group of players who brought them glory. They rely on the same veterans long after their physical peak, ignoring the decline until a younger, faster opponent runs them off the pitch. Scaloni's response is a massive expansion of the national team roster. By calling up a huge pool of players for the upcoming friendlies, he is intentionally crowding the training ground with new faces. This roster creates an immediate physical overlap for every position on the field. Scaloni is running a transition in parallel, forcing the next generation to integrate and train under their predecessors years before the older players actually retire. By expanding the talent pool this aggressively, he creates an environment of artificial scarcity. With 3 high-level players competing for every single starting spot, the established champions are forced to maintain their maximum intensity just to stay on the plane. The strategy relies on 2 distinct populations working in tandem. The first group is the Defenders of the Crown, the returning spine of the 2022 Qatar squad, who serve as the team's cultural anchors. Emiliano Dibu Martínez remains the undisputed number 1. He provides the vocal leadership and psychological edge required to organize a defense under World Cup pressure. In front of him, the defensive line is built around the aggression of center-backs like Christian Cuti Romero and Lisandro Martínez. These are players who have already proven they can handle the most physical strikers in Europe. The midfield engine room is still led by Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, and Rodrigo De Paul. These veterans dictate the tactical tempo, using their experience to control the ball when the game becomes chaotic. Scaloni retains this core because they represent the standard of play that won a trophy. They understand the specific, crushing pressure of a tournament final, a knowledge they transmit to the new arrivals through every drill and training. This group acts as the squad's internal barometer. They reject any hint of laziness and ensure that the winning chemistry developed in Qatar isn't lost as the roster begins to shift. To keep those veterans sharp, Scaloni is injecting a second population, the heirs apparent. This is a massive draft of young wonderkids brought in to challenge the status quo. This chart visualizes the shift. By flooding the camp with teenagers, Scaloni has pulled the average age down compared to the previous cycle. That drop is driven by teenage playmakers, prioritizing technical agility and high-speed endurance over older bench players. We're seeing a domestic youth movement with players like River Plate's Claudio Echeverri. He brings a raw, creative style of playmaking that hasn't yet been dulled by the rigid tactical systems of European football. Out on the wings, newly signed European stars like Alejandro Garnacho and Franco Mastantuono add explosive speed. They provide an unpredictable flair that allows Argentina to change their attacking profile instantly. Acting as the bridge between these rookies and the veterans are players like Julian Alvarez. He is still in his early 20s, but already has the composure of a World Cup winner, helping the newest players adjust. This influx of energy is a tactical necessity. The 2026 World Cup will feature an expanded format with more travel and more matches, making youth and physical recovery times more valuable than ever. The sheer size of this squad pool triggers a mentorship mechanism. By putting these 2 generations in constant proximity, Scaloni ensures the team's institutional knowledge is passed down directly. The newest players are there to observe the greatest player of all time. They spend every day copying the training habits and recovery routines of Lionel Messi, learning the standard of professionalism required to defend a title. At the same time, the veterans are feeling the pressure. When an elite scorer like Lautaro Martínez sees a 19-year-old wonder kid training at his level, it eliminates any risk of him becoming comfortable or losing his competitive edge. This internal competition turns every training camp into a fight for survival. It keeps the energy of the squad high and prevents the mental fatigue that usually sets in after a major trophy win. While most nations wait for their icons to retire before starting a painful rebuild, Scaloni is managing the transition while the team is still at the top. He is ensuring the culture of the team is handed over directly from one generation to the next without a dip in performance. Argentina isn't just trying to win again, they are trying to build a multi-generational dynasty. Which of these young stars are you most excited to see take the torch from Messi? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more in-depth World Cup coverage. Vamos Argentina!